Hey, salam. Make sure this is in front of me. That's my name. Whoop, 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 whoop. It went away. It went away. That's my name. My name is Mustafa. I am quick introduction. I've done game development. I've worked in the AAA industry. I've done administrative work at Treyarch, which put me in a pretty unique position in which I was able to like meet like everybody across all disciplines of game development and got a unique view of what AAA game development is like. Then I moved over after 3 years during the development of Black Ops 4. I moved over to quality assurance at a indoor cycling game. It was a software as a service compared to Peloton. And after getting laid off, after 3.5 years working there, I've released my own game, Nexus Defenders, currently on Steam. I have another game that's on Steam that's wishlist. You could wishlist it. It's called Beware Tomorrow. It's that one is so the Nexus Defenders is a narrative driven tower defense game. Beware Tomorrow is more of a first person horror themed escape room type game. And right now I've also been doing teaching at the college level, community college. I've taught game development and design, game testing, graphic communication, and more coming up soon. So that's my quick introduction. For those of you new to the channel, I talk about video game related topics, game industry related topics, issues that I see in the game industry, potential solutions. I like to talk about design related stuff. My most watched video is my me discussing my experience with DEI, especially at um, the software development company, but that's related to game development as well. But anyways, that's the quick introduction. Let me get the chat on the screen and say hello. Say hello to Play Nice Games. Let's get the chat on the screen. Okay, it's just a black box right now, but Play Nice Games. How's it going? You're back in the States and everybody hates you because you are based. Good to see you Play Nice Games. You're taking a break from making pizzas in Italy. You're back in the United States. Play Nice Games, who is famous for single-handedly making Shadow of Mordor. He was the one who made it by himself. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, just a tiny bit of an exaggeration, but he basically did the whole game by himself. I think the rest of the studio kind of helped, just a little bit, but it was mostly him. But anyways, um, yeah. So today, on this live stream, I'm going to, I basically got three topics, and anything else that anyone else wants to, bring up. So the three topics I have, where we got the Xbox price increase that's already started like 2 days ago. We have the Virtual Boy, and then I have a video I'm going to do a video reaction to. Is What is the title of the video? Give me 1 second to pull it up. The title is we need to talk about platformers, and the thumbnail says, "Are platformers dead?" So we're gonna do a video reaction to that, and the channel is Indie Game Clinic. So we're gonna do a reaction to that. But those are the main topics. Mr. 10 years. Assalamu alaikum. Haven't seen you in a while. I feel like it's been like a few weeks since you were last in here. Good to see you. Good to see you back in here. Um, so yeah, let's get into the main topics. I'm As usual, I always look at the chat. I try to keep interaction with the chat. So if, for those of you who join live, I like to have live interactions with you guys. And if you're not joining in live, you can always leave a comment. I read the comments. I usually leave replies to comments, and members get first priority to replies. Um, if I don't leave a reply to you, it's usually because like I don't know, I don't really have anything to add, or sometimes it's like, okay, this person's just trying to be argumentative, and whatever I say doesn't isn't going to um improve the situation. And sometimes being silent is the best response. So, sometimes I don't respond to those type of comments. Um, but anyways, yeah, leave a comment if you're not watching live. If you're watching live, leave a like. We're also taking super chats. So leave a super chat if you want, but please leave a like. It's one of the single most helpful things you could do for the it's one of the single most helpful things you could do for the algorithm is to hit that like button, and also, just be engaged with the video. So let's get started. We have an Xbox. This is, let's screen share. Where are we at? Share screen. Is that it? Transition. There we go. All right. Where we go. This is straight from news.xbox.com. So we have effective August 1st. So that was 2 days ago. We'll be updating the prices worldwide. The price of the Xbox console will increase by $100 for the 512 gigabyte model, and the US 150 $150 for the 1 terabyte. Like, this is madness. This is madness. It's like the console has not changed. The console's the same. The only real difference now is that there's a hardware shortage, but aside from that, like, the specs are still the same. It's still, you know, basically what I'm trying to say is that traditionally, as hardware gets older, it should get cheaper because there's better hardware out later. So this is like the first time this is the first time in my life I've seen hardware get more expensive as it's getting older. It's insane. Usually it gets cheaper. Like, I remember like m- so many console generations. After the console has been out so many years, it gets significantly cheaper, whether it's because they just drop the price, or they release a smaller, cheaper version. They've done this for a number of consoles. Um, they've done it for definitely PlayStation. There's the PS1, which was a smaller, cheaper version. The PS2, there was a PS2 Slim that had a, rather than a disc tray that comes out, you pop it was actually better. It was actually much better. Let me pull up PS2 Slim. Pull up a picture of that. Like, it was actually a lot better because, one, it was smaller, it didn't overheat, plus, let's go to images real quick. Yeah, I use Brave. So yeah, this is the main difference. So it pops open like that, which is actually better because that's less moving parts. You don't have to worry about the gears breaking as the disc tray comes out. So yeah, and it was cheaper. It was much cheaper. The PS3 had a smaller version. Has Xbox traditionally had a smaller version or cheaper version? I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of it. But the point being is that, like, even when it comes to consoles, they traditionally get cheaper. And this is the first time the consoles are getting more expensive. And this is not didn't they just recently have a price hike as well? Let's look at the chat real quick. Hey, peaceful dance. How's it going? All right, let me read the chats. Okay. Uh, oh, you're playing the Black Ops 1 and 2 ports. Consoles used to get cheaper over time. Yeah. Feels like Xbox's pressure cooker. Hey, how do we say your name? Akin Hero. How's it going, Akin Hero? Glad that you're able to join the chat. One day it'll explode and we'll have a massive 90% off or 90% layoff where everything is consolidated into one small humble game studio working for Microsoft. Yeah. I mean, it's not looking good for the Xbox division. Am I centered out? I should stand more over here. There we go. Yeah, now I'm in frame. Um you think that's, like a strategy to make you buy a new console as soon as it comes out because, it's I mean, like, I guess that would be a strategy to try to incentivize people to, like, in the future purchase them, but I don't think that was the plan. I mean, I understand you're joking, um, but, yeah, that was, like I said, additionally, late adapters have the advantage of getting it cheaper. Did you work on Black Ops multiplayer or the zombies? So I was doing administrative work at uh, at Treyarch. So basically, I didn't actually work on the game. I did get to play some builds of the game, at certain points. I even got to play the campaign, part of the campaign, obviously didn't get finished, but I got to play parts. I think I got to play, like, 2 or 3 levels of the campaign that got scrapped. The campaign was really weird. Maybe one day I'll talk more about it on the stream. That's a whole story. So I don't wanna take up too much time from the topics I already have. Or maybe if I have more time at the end of the stream, I wanna keep this stream to be, about 90 minutes long. But, yeah, I did not get a chance to actually work on the game. That was the main reason why I left, because while I was there, I was learning how to use Radiant. The My supervisors, so I had the what was her title at the time? Now she's the director of operations. She got promoted, but she was like the manager of operations or something like that. And her supervisor, who was the director of operations. I think she has a new title now. But anyways, both of them, they were rooting for me to get hired on as a um level designer. They were both really supportive and they were trying to help me out, to the point that they got my when I started, since I was doing administrative work, I had one of those micro PCs, like one of those little boxes that just kind of just runs web browsers and just enough for you to do administrative work, like use Microsoft Office, use web browser. And so I told them, I was like, hey, is there a possibility that, like, I can have access to some sort of a computer that allows me to use Radiant so that I can, um, learn how to use the software, and that would help me, you know, get hired. And they hooked me up. They upgraded my computer. They, got rid of that little box. They gave me a bigger computer. They got, like, they couldn't give me access to Radiant though, but, told me to install Steam, and download, Black Ops 3, and through Black Ops 3, I used the zombies modding tools, which is Radiant, and I got to talk to a lot of the level designers, and they saw me working on stuff, and they gave me pointers. Hey, do this, do that, and I printed out like this big manual. It was like hundreds of pages of how to use Radiant, like all the keyboard shortcuts and stuff. So like I got a lot of help on how to use Radiant. And then they just like the level design leader, like, I showed him my work, I talked to him, and he was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna be straightforward with you, we just don't have the head count." And, that's what he said to me, but from, like, basically from what I've observed, it seems that, like, AAA studios just don't like hiring, entry-level positions. They like hiring mid-tier, they like hiring senior, they don't like hiring, entry level, and the only time that I saw them hire entry level was when they had the interns. There's an internship program, and then after the internship program's over, they would give job offers to the best ones, and that was basically it. That was the only time I saw uh um people get hired onto intro level positions. But anyways, let's see. Hey, Savanan, how's it going? Um, let me see. Did I skip anything? Okay. And then we got Cosgrove. How you doing, Cosgrove? The price hikes are just pushing people to build peace. Exactly. I agree. Did I meet Bobby? I did see Bobby Kotick a few times, and that dude is a gremlin. He he annoyed me. I did not like him. Like, let me put it this way. There would be multiple times where executives would come in to, like, have a meeting because they have to, like, watch, like, they have to see the presentation, and then give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. And every single executive that came in, as I greeted them, because I'm in the administrative, um, sector, department. That's what I meant, department. That some of them, hey, hello. I give them a smile, say hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it was. He was the only gremlin who would just charge past me, not even make eye contact. He made 0 eye contact. He would just charge right past me. Everybody else would at least smile back because, you treat people nice. You give them a smile. You say hello, good morning. They'll sometimes smile back. Him, no, he was ah, looking like he looked like one of those trolls, like what, troll with the gems. Like one of these dudes. He looked like one of these dudes. Like, same face. He looked like one of these. Short, stout, same looking face. I told that to my coworker and he thought it was hilarious because he was like, "Yeah, that I could see it." But anyways, let's get back to this. Buy now, pay later. We made it easier for players to use buy now, pay later options on eligible Xbox hardware. See, this is what they want. They want you to be in debt. They want you to be in debt. Like all these companies, they want you to sign up for their credit card, they want you to finance, they want you to be in debt. Interest-free financing. We are hooking up partners to let players purchase 0% for 12 months, and then if you can't pay it off within those 12 months, then you start getting charged interest. You get charged interest afterwards. And then who knows? Maybe they might do a credit card program as well. Um, we're working on retail partners on new programs to provide previously played consoles at lower prices. Players who are ready to upgrade or no longer use their console will be able to trade it in for participating. So it's just more of a sanctioned program in which they purchase your console for like $200 and then sell it for 400, something like that. I saw this video the other day. This guy who I guess he has like a GoPro on his head. It was a YouTube short. He has a GoPro and he owns a I think a gaming store. And some old guy came in with a PS5 and he took the PS5, checked to see if it works, and then he offered him 250 bucks. And then, and then the guy is like, "All right," and he's an older looking guy. He probably maybe it's his son's PS5 or maybe it's stolen. I don't know. Maybe you found it. Who knows? Who knows? But he was like, "Eh." And like everyone in the comments section are like, "Man, daylight robbery." Penguin with that small, yeah, exactly, Penguin. That's what, Bobby Kodak's like, back to where, they began when they made Xbox in 2001 with 50 plus devs, I think. Um, yeah, I think, um, overinflated, studios is definitely one of the issues that the game industry has right now. Uh there are diminishing returns when you have giant studios, like bottlenecked communication, too many cooks in the kitchen. Like generally, I think when it comes to software development, a smaller studio size is much better. Like around 100 to 300 people is much better than having thousands of people. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to add on this. This is just insanity that Xbox is inflated has officially inflated their price again. And I like how they shadow dropped this. Like they didn't announce that they're going to do it. They saw what the backlash that a PlayStation got, and rather than be like, okay, we're gonna announce it, they're like, oh, let's just drop it. Let's just shadow drop the announcement. That way we don't have to worry too much about the backlash. We can't have too much pushback if we just do it. Um, don't ask for permission. Ask for forgiveness. that's that's basically the mentality. But what do you guys think? Um, in the chat. Let's move on to the next one. No, this is not it. Hold on, let me switch screens while I find the next let me close out some tabs. That's not it. Um that's not it either. Virtual Boy. There we go. Hold on. Here we go. Virtual Boy and Virtual Boy. There we go. All right, found it. Bobby is in the file. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely in the files. Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, so here's a funny thing. Um, one of the security guards at Treyarch, I'm not gonna name any names or anything, but one of the security guards at at Treyarch, he um he was also Bobby Kodak's personal security guard. So basically, like I guess as because he was older, like at the time he was in the 60s, maybe I think he's at this now he should be in his 70s. Um but anyways, so this security guard, he was he's a retired cop, personal security guard to Bobby Kotick. He would still do um side jobs for Bobby uh during specific events, I guess cuz they built a good relationship together. For example, if Bobby Kotick has to go to like a like a dinner event or something like that, this security guard would go there. So the security guard, we ended up building a relationship because he overheard me complain about the prices of uh rent in LA. I was trying to find a place. I was complaining to a coworker, saying I can't find a place, and he was like, "Oh, my mom is going to have a vacancy very soon because his mother, at the time, 90 years old. Now she's like nearing 100. Um, I still try to call up every few months just to see how she's doing and give her updates on how I'm doing because she's a very nice lady. old lady. Um, she doesn't have a lot going on. Talk about how her health is diminishing and stuff like that. So she likes to hear about my kids and stuff like that. So I try to call her up. But anyways, point being, she had she at the time she owned a small apartment building. She had a vacancy, and so I lived in her apartment for the remainder of my time in LA until up until I moved out. Um, so we ended up I ended up building a, somewhat of a relationship with the security guard, and the security guard would always talk about how great Bobby is. Oh, good old Bobby. Bobby this, Bobby. And I'm like, man, you only like Bobby because he treats you nice. He probably pays him really well, like, gives him a nice tip or whatever, a nice bonus or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it changes your perspective when you get treated nice and you kind of like overlook how he treats everybody else. So that's just a funny perspective, seeing how one guy, I mean, like this security guard, he very nice guy. We end up building a somewhat of a relationship together, and um just the way how he gets treated well from Bobby. He's like, "Ah, good old Bobby. Bobby's a great guy." Okay, all right. If you say so, if you say so. I don't agree. I will have to disagree with you. Oh, funny enough, I got my Black Ops Zombies mug. Anyways, um, so let's get back to transition back to here. Talk about the Virtual Boy. So, I have a I have to respect old Bobby. I'm glad you respect good old Bobby. I'm glad. Anyways, let's talk about the Virtual Boy. So, Nintendo released a an announcement that they're re-releasing the Virtual Boy. So they're releasing the games. It looks like, did they, let me confirm. It should be like an actual, like a Virtual Boy. Because from the trailer, it looks like, let me play the trailer quick. Well, first of all, let's, for those of you who don't know what the Virtual Boy is, for those of you who don't know, the Virtual Boy is Nintendo's failed 3D. It was considered a portable.
It came from the third dimension with its own brain, its own voice,
Trying to look like a predator.
its own legs. There's only one problem. It needs your eyes. Virtual Boy. See it now in 3D.
This is what. Whoa, who's this guy? Rick Rubin. I have no idea who Rick Rubin is. Anyways, yeah, that's what 90s gaming commercials or 90s commercials were like in generally. So this is the new trailer. Take a look at this real quick. Let me lower the volume a little bit.
Coming to Nintendo 6. Virtual Boy.
So it looks like they're re-releasing the like brand new hardware.
Enjoy a collection of Virtual Boy
And
games.
also you get to it looks like it's downloadable as well.
Stereoscopic 3D while playing
So on the Nintendo Switch 2, gameplay footage,
Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. In order to play, you'll need this dedicated accessory. This recreates the form of the original Virtual Boy hardware by inserting a console to play.
Okay, so it's not like actual hardware. This is more you just put the Switch in there. It looks like there's also a there's a cardboard version as well. A cheaper cardboard model. But Go back.
and Nintendo Switch are supported.
But
Play Mario's Tennis.
let me mute it. But anyways, so the point. Whoops! Don't need the ad. Stop the ad. Anyways, yeah, this product failed really bad because it hurt people's eyes. It gave people headaches. It strained people's eyes because the hardware was just really bad. Um, like it was a lot of flashing and blinking, and apparently the with the new this new setup playing it off of your Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2, um, it shouldn't hurt your eyes as much. And I'm assuming you could probably just play the games normally. But I remember there's one game, it was called like not Red Alert. It was Red something. It was a jet game, and I played that at the store and it hurt my eyes so much. It was crazy. So it's wild that they're even re-releasing this. Let's get that off the screen. Just wild that they're re-releasing this. At the I'm pretty sure they're gonna like overcharge for these. It's just emulated. They didn't update the games at all. They have two games that have never been released before. Um, probably games that were already done in development, and they're like, "Hey, let's go ahead and release these anyways." Um, Similar to how the SNES Mini included Star Fox 2 because that game was basically done, and they just never released it. So I mean, I'll give at the very least, I'll give Nintendo credit for like preserving these awkward games, these very obscure games that kind of just vanished. But at the same time, I'm very certain they're just overcharged, and you could just there are ways of playing these games right now. So I'm not gonna explain how to do it. For those of you who can figure it out, you can figure it out. I'm not gonna give you instructions that will get me in trouble. But click the Pedro Pascal No, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna click the Pedro Pascal Mario. Uh, the besides, that's Saturday Night Live. That would probably, demonetize the video. So anyways, I just heard my phone go off. Let's get into the main topic. Oh, let me catch up with the chat real quick. Seems the new Halo is not doing so well. I've seen a lot of stuff about it. Like I just saw a video before starting the stream, a video of somebody just running through a level, running past all the enemies, and it worked. So I am seeing lots of stuff. It's not just the that female character who looks unlikable, looks and sounds unlikable. It's not just her. It seems like there's a lot of issues with Halo just not living up to being a good recreation of the game. So that's unfortunate. Um, I mean, I haven't played it and I haven't watched like a lot of detailed stuff on it, so I don't really have too much to say other than from the few things I've seen, it seems like there are issues. They re-released the Virtual Boy a little while ago. Did they? When they How many times was Virtual Boy re-released? Let's see. Virtual Boy is not re-released as a product during the okay. Nintendo. Hmm. According to Leo, it says that this this thing right now. Wait, what? Access to 14 Virtual Boy games uh with availability starting February 17th, 2026. Okay, so I guess the games have been available earlier this year. Okay. All right, thanks Play Nice Games. Rick Rubin is a music producer, worked with people like Eminem. Uh what's that thumbnail? Oh, Pedro Pascal. Um Emulating is not illegal. Um I mean, it might not be, but well, there's certain conditions. But the thing is, when you promote certain things on your YouTube channel, it can get you in trouble with YouTube. So I don't want to promote certain things. You run past the enemies in original. I used to speed run and do that. Okay. Um, let's see. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, let's get this on screen. Indie Game Clinic. Let me get my headset on, and we'll share screen. So transition. Here's Indie Game Clinic. So this is a channel. He's been growing rapidly. So I remember last year he was like at 10K subs. So he's been growing. He's almost at 50K subs. Um, and uh this guy, he knows of me, or at least he saw my, he left a comment on my most viral video. He seemed to disagree with me, which is fine. Well, he did bring up a good point, that, like, in my video, the DEI video, I talk about, the number of, um, LGBT employees that get hired are the percentage is much higher than the national average. And the point that he brought up was that maybe this is skewed due to the fact that like the area has more of those people. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I did look it up though, but it seems that the number of LGBT in the area basically matches the national average because of the fact that you also have to account for, like, for example, on in the West Coast, where a lot of these jobs are, or in LA, a lot of these jobs are in LA. Yeah, there's a high number of LGBT people, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say that. I'm just for now on, I'm gonna say rainbow, just so I don't say it too many times, because YouTube doesn't like things said too many times. So I'm gonna say rainbow from now on. But yeah, I might have more rainbow people, but um at the same time, an area like LA has lots of Hispanic people, and generally Hispanics are more like Catholic, so there's gonna be less rainbow people, or outwardly rainbow people. If you account for the fact that you have lots of Hispanic people in the area. So I'm getting on a tangent here. Anyways, he knows of me, but I do like, despite our disagreement on that, I do like his channel. He has some really good information. He's very smart when it comes to like game design and indie game development. So we're gonna take a look at this video right here. That's a shorter video. We need to talk about platformers, and it looks like it's a highlight from his live stream. So before I get started on that, be big. Are you a Halo fan? I did like Halo back in the day. Um, uh, what do you mean? Peaceful Dance. What do you mean by is he big? Like as far as like having a big YouTube channel? This guy. because he does have like, I mean, he has like 50K subs. I mean, that's not really considered big, but he's definitely growing. He's growing rapidly. I swear they just want to farm clicks on their profile. Support. Let's get Biryani together movement. Oh, Biryani. Let's get Biryani together movement. All right, let's get on if so we're
Hi,
gonna
I'm
start
Joe
this
Baxter.
video. If you need me to higher the volume, type 1 in chat. All right.
Web. I've been a professional game designer for 10 years now, hobbyist developer for way longer than that. Every week I stream a bunch of games which have been sent in by you guys. This week I played 2 platformers that I think were exceptionally good, and I wanted to show them to you because there's a lot of kind of negative hype about this genre of games now. It's a genre that just contains more failed games than any other genre. It looks like we're doing Magical Theme in a kind of slice of life, possibly modern sort of 20th century looking world, kind of Kiki's Delivery Service type vibes. Your daughter's imagination must be exceptional to convince you to knock on our door, but she is sadly delusional. Can you show him? Just gonna kamikaze. Oh, that's a cool use of VFX. For now, I'll just have to wait in the park. It should be just along this street. This is all very charming. I'm not getting my writing cringe thing that I often get from games that start off with a big chunk of narrative. All of the characters are written reasonably well.
Give me 1 second. I'm hearing notifications from one of my other apps. So let me. Sorry about that. I apologize. I'm hearing notifications, so I'm gonna go over to my other screen and like mute some stuff real quick. Let's mute this. Let's mute that. Mute that. And let's close out this program. Don't need Signal on right now. Okay. So now I got some stuff muted out. I apologize. I just didn't want like all these notification sounds popping up. Discord, yes, good point. Good at Discord. Let's go to Discord. Close that out. Close out Discord. I think yeah, that's one of the culprits. Close out Discord. Why do I have Microsoft Teams? Quit Microsoft Teams. Discord's closed. What else is going on? All right. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. No, I don't got a Discord server. Not yet. I figure the channel's not big enough at this point. I do plan on getting I think that is a goal to eventually have a Discord server. But right now I don't think the community is large enough. So let's get back to here. Let's transition back. All right.
Looks like we're going to get a bit of kind of Night in the Woods type platforming, but in a real place. When we've got a setting like this that is a real place, how does that impact positively or negatively the ability for the developers to do platformer level design? And in a game like this where we've got the action happening on a specific plane, I would expect there to be a tiny bit of that fading fog even before we get to the houses that are in the background that are like directly behind the character. If you look at Hollow Knight, for example, they do a very good job of distinguishing what's something on the same layer as the player that you're going to bump into versus what's something just behind. And in Hollow Knight, there are even like things that you can walk past that are behind the character in the distance, but they're only just in the distance, like these doors and fences. And if you hit them, you can still break them, but they don't actually form a barrier. And those things have a set of visual cues that allow you to know that they are behind the knight rather than standing in the way of them on the horizontal plane. Every single individual bit of art here is absolutely gorgeous, but I'm looking at it and I'm worrying that when we get to a point where we're actually doing platforming, it's going to become visually confusing very quickly because the focus is a little bit too much on making it look like a real place. Everything here is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean to build off of what he just said, let's go to the
Place. Everything here.
Yeah. So to build off what he said about like having visual cues, I mean like it's a balancing act when it comes to trying to have things consistent and also make it apparent as to whether it's part of the foreground, background, etc. That like if you go too hard as far as making it apparent, then you end up with the whole like yellow paint situation. Where it's like, okay, you have this yellow paint everywhere, and it's like it makes it too jarring. It starts to break immersion. And that's why like certain games have a consistent rule set as far as like what kind of ground can you, like for example, if you have let me, I don't know, but let's say you have like a platform above you. Some of them you can't jump through. Some of them you can jump through, but then you can't go back down. Like you have to have like certain visual cues that are consistent and make it apparent that okay, this one you can jump through from the bottom. This one, like if you jump, it'll just bash your head like a wall. So visual cues are important as far as making the game readable to the player, and so they can understand what are the rules for the like how you interact with it.
It's absolutely gorgeous. How cute is that? I can be a ballerina. I can be a knight. Kitty cat. This is so sweet.
Like this, for example.
We're tutorializing the platform.
This, I'm assuming you could probably jump from underneath and go right through it.
Coming through the story, she's jumping.
Oh, we didn't get to see.
That motion and animation felt like it fit with the level of sort of...
So at least here, it looks like there's a visual cue. So this wall is like, it has an indication that you can climb it. And these visual cues are important to have throughout not only throughout your game, like throughout the level, but it has to be consistent throughout the different types of environments, because this environment, you see it's a forest, but then other environments, like let's say you go somewhere completely different and it's a different color scheme, you still want to have something that looks similar so that the rules carry over.
Realism that the game is going for, because there is a challenge when you make a game like this that is set in the real world or something close to it. You're going away from kind of Mario territory and you're going into like Prince of Persia territory. Changes people's expectation of how the character's going to handle, and they need to be able to like mantle, and momentum slides down hills and stuff as well that feel very Sonic-y. I can bounce off the sheep. So we've got creatures in the environment that can be kind of interacted with, but they're not.
I like that he started mentioning that, like difference between like Mario and Prince of Persia, because when building on... Like, this is one thing I had to do when I was working on my game that I canceled. I worked on a platformer for about a year or so. I ended up canceling it because I didn't see a good return on investment, and it was just taking too long to develop. But I had like there are certain platforming mechanics that's like, okay, I think this is really cool, like double jumping and wall climbing and this and that. All these seem cool, but at a certain point, like what's the like you have to ask, what is the identity of your platformer? Like you can end up doing all these things, double jump, wall jump, wall climb, doing all these things, and then you're just, it kind of loses the identity of what type of platformer it is. So what I decided for my platformer is the identity I was going for is similar to Donkey Kong Country, because I'm a big fan of Donkey Kong Country games. But like you can deviate a little bit from it. You don't have to like follow it to a T, but you have to understand when you add so many things, like the wall climbing, the sliding downhill, doing all these things, it just feels like the mechanics are just all over the place. The mechanics have to complement each other.
Enemies per se, which is nice as well. How do you expect me to reach all the way up there? Silly kitty. Wait, is it because you want to see my magic? It's quite forgiving in terms of how that wall climb works as well, which is good because it's one of the trickier, newer mechanics. Okay, I've got some sort of magic thing. I think they might be doing something very clever with the level design, or they kind of challenge the goal of the level here as well, where it's like, instead of the goal of this platformer level being to get over the other side, it's more like a big
the Naruto run
non-linear playground that you're supposed to run around and get the magic points so that you can cast your spell for the narrative reason of getting to the cat, right? Which is really kind of interesting. It's like treating a single-player platformer level as an arena, or almost like a skate park, you know, like a Tony Hawk skate park. You're just sort of exploring it and finding all the corners where you can do tricks and stuff and find the collectibles.
The level design looks better during the platforming levels than it did looking in the city. The city just it did look confusing, but here in this portion of the game, it does look better. This video isn't really where I thought it was gonna go, though. I thought he was gonna talk about like the place of platformers in like the indie game market. It seems like he's just playing these games that people submit to him, and he's giving game design feedback.
Fraud, a boingy on the fraud. Just have a dunk in the well of creation. In the depths of her mind, a path has been retraced. Valerie can now use the bubble gun. We've got two control options. We can either press X to shoot in the direction that we're facing, or we've got a directional thing with the right stick. That's great. They're answering that question I had at the beginning. How do you do the zanier parts of platforming in a realistic world? Well, you don't. You go to the spirit realm, which, if you look at the background, is stylized to look like the inside of someone's brain, which is very cool. Things get a negative association because of being kind of inundated with bad stuff, and it's like, well, that doesn't mean that there's nothing good in that category of stuff. This is data from howtomarketagame.com. It was posted in 2022. But
yeah, I remember seeing. So I used to follow How to Market a Game, Chris Zukowski, How to Market a Game.com. So Chris Zukowski, he's seen as a strong source of for indie developers, especially on Steam, on how to market your game. But anyways, let's go back to this. And yeah, like he was talking about like the amount of platformers there's a lot of them.
problem with this type of data is I think people generally draw the wrong type of conclusions from it. So right over on this side, you'll see relatively few 4X games made, but the ones which are made make a lot of money. If we compare this to 2D platformer over here, we have a lot of games released, a relatively few of them that make a decent amount of money. Now, when you see this kind of data, the way that this is generally used is to basically tell beginners, this is where the opportunity is over here. And over here is the games that people don't want. I think really that this kind of data is more just representative of which genres are the most attempted by newbies. You go on Steam and filter by 2D platformers, you can already tell with a reasonable level of confidence that a lot of these things are going to be kind of...
I agree with his assessment, because when it comes to the data of how many games get released on Steam, like you hear about, like, you know, let's pull that up real quick. How many games were released on Steam in 2025? It's gonna be in the thousands. But when you look at that data, yeah, 19,000 games in 2025, and then it's gonna be even more so for 2026. And when you hear this number brought up, like for example, like in the video that we saw with Jason Schreier, I think about a month ago, basically, like, they bring this up and saying something along the lines of like, hey, there's a lot of competition, there's so much competition, but that's not taking account for how many games get released and are just slop. Like, you have, for example, you have people who are releasing games and they are just copying other games for the sake of trying to make money. You have games that are released and they're just literal asset flips. You have games that are being released and it's like somebody's project, like their school project, and they just want to release it on Steam. Or it's, you know, it's their first game, etc. Like you have like all these games that end up fluffing up this number. And so this number doesn't really mean this is all the competition when it comes to indie games. The competition are the ones that are actually like selling and that look good. These 19,000 games are not the competition, because so many of these are just like asset flips, their slop, their like you have one developer that keeps on publishing um like these store sims, and all of them are the same thing except they're like the theme has changed. Like you have VHS store simulator, and you have grocery store simulator, you have all these different store simulators, and then we have like games like that cocoa nut simulator, that's uh what was his name? Craig was talking about in a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So we got games like this, and then let's look at like you look at the games that this guy has released. All of them are the same: Coconut Simulator, Coconut Simulator 2, Grass Life Simulator, Cactus Simulator, Weed Simulator, Stump Simulator. Like all of these, like this dude only releases these dumb sim games. And that also pads up this 1,000 like 19,000 games released. So these are not real. This is not that number is not the real number of how much competition you have. So let's get back.
Hobby projects, little things thrown up here for like $1. The developer of that game probably wouldn't play it if they saw it and someone else had made it. I think that's a common problem with a lot of games, is that people don't have a standard of quality for their own games that they would apply to other people's games. And then if you take the other extreme, if we take 4X, it's just because it's a genre that is dominated by professional games rather than hobby projects. The problem is people take this kind of data and they use it as an indication of what game they should or shouldn't make, when in reality there is a market for every type of game if you execute it to a higher level of quality. Okay, this is called Spring Escape. Kind of too...
Well, I do agree with the point. He does bring a good point. I will disagree with dismissing the idea that there are too many platformers, because like when it comes to like 2D platformers, they're a dime a dozen. It's harder to stand out being a 2D platformer than it is to be like any other genre. Like if you have a game that is a hero action game, like for example like Devil May Cry. I mean, I see those get posted on X all the time. And those games it's pretty easy to stand out with those type of games, because all you need is like a really cool looking character and have them swing a sword in a cool way with some cool animations, and then your GIF goes viral because it just looks cool, and that's enough to get people excited. When it comes to a 2D platformer, it's harder to get people excited. They see a character, they see some like pixel art or whatever kind of visual theme you are going with, and people look at it and be like, I've seen this before. Oh, this looks like another Hollow Knight clone. There's so many games that look like Hollow Knight clones, so it's harder to stand out when it comes to platformers compared to other genres. I think there are genres that are much easier to have your game stand out.
Characters stuck together, Patchy and Tulip. I've got a little jump, I can't double jump, I can do a ground pound. When your feet are on fertile ground, press X to dive into it. Camera's very close in. I'm not having any issues with legibility. Part of that is because they've used these very harsh black outlines for everything that's solid, and then the background stuff doesn't use the black outlines that way. Dirt jumps. Ever wanted to reach a tall platform, but your roots are too weak for that? There's a very special trick just for that. Yeah, okay. Kind of comes back to a classic thing as well of not just...
This character design, it makes me think like 90s, because like in the 90s there's so many crazy 2D platformers with really wacky characters, like you had like I think Arrow the Bat, Bubsy, you had what's that star, I can't remember, I can't remember the star's name, but anyways, like you have all these crazy wacky characters,
just platformers, but a lot of games in general where they're character driven games. The design of the world, the levels, the kind of tools that you give the player, you should be able to kind of infer them from who the character is. A little girl that's a witch. Okay, she can do some sort of magic. It's cute magic. It's bubbles because she's a little girl. It all makes sense as like a holistic package. This guy is a plant. You know, the stuff that we've been able to do all makes sense.
Is he a plant?
It's good. You often get like stuff where the character design just doesn't relate to anything that you can do in the game. Am I not supposed to be going back? Oh no, yeah. Okay. Oh, there's some good use of non-linearity here of like backtracking, you know, things are in a different state and you can kind of go past them now. Really neat level design. So a little bit confusing, but not in a bad way.
Kind of
so there's little
reminds me
sparks
of
going on and then shorting out that
Stealth Bastard. That was a fun game.
And then letting me get through. But
Ristar, that's what it is. Yeah, Ristar. Yeah.
I think one of the benefits that I had at the time that I grew up and of getting into game dev through the Warcraft level editor and the Half-Life level editor is it kind of gives you a sense of the game exists as this set of components, and the way that those are arranged into levels and specific challenges and a story for the player at the end comes after all of those components have been built. Because often when you got a level editor for something like Warcraft, you were using the level editor that the game designers at the studio were built by the tools engineers. And that kind of shows you that this game was made as this set of enemies, traps, environmental features. That big toolkit, that playset of toys was made before it was arranged into the shape that a player would understand as a game. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing, because they get a game engine and they're just trying to go as quickly as possible from nothing to something that resembles a game. And that's not a good way to make a game. You know, you need to make the toolkit of the parts. One of the things that's misleading about game engines, all of the modern...
Yeah, that's one thing that when I was working on the platformer I made, it was called, first it was called Beware the Bully. Well, Beware the Bully Redux, because Beware the Bully is a game I made for college. And then I wanted to redo it and make it better. It was called Beware the Bully Redux. And then I renamed it again, calling just Beware. Anyways, so... the first thing I was focusing on was making all the mechanics, and like, you know, all the different types of enemy mechanics, all the different types of gameplay, platforming mechanics, and I had to like come up with the tool set of what you know, the player has to avoid, what the player has to like work against, what the player has to use against all these things. And anytime I had a new idea to add in later, I was like, man, do I really want to add this? But it would be so good. And then I added in and I had to like redo all these other things because it kind of breaks the system. So it's important to figure out what exactly you want to do with your game, like from the very beginning, and then make the levels after that. Like don't add in stuff later, because that leads to scope creep, and then that leads to like you have to redo a bunch of stuff.
Game engines, you still have to build the engine of your own game. You have to decide what a level is in your game. If there's combat, you have to decide what the actions are and what the damage model is and all of that kind of stuff before you start really building your game. You still have to decide the architecture of the game that you're making specifically. Obviously, it's very hard to do that when you've just started out, but it's even harder if you don't realize that that's part of your responsibility as the developer, which I think often happens because that's been hidden by the idea that there's this magical game engine that's going to do everything for you. It's not going to do all of the thinking about like how your game is actually structured in order for you to make the specific content arrangements that your game needs, you know? The amount of variations on how each mechanic is used after it gets introduced is really good here. We get the drills. Okay, now you need to, you know, run away from a drill long enough for the spark to do its thing. And then we get multiple drills. This feels like quite a good study.
That's basically what I did with my game too. I like my philosophy was to introduce a mechanic that's safe in a safe environment. So whether it's like introducing what the player can do or an enemy, and usually it's like, okay, you introduce like one of these enemies and it's in a mostly safe-ish area. And then you introduce more of those enemies, and then you do like tricky things like, you know, having those specific enemies moving in a different pattern or whatever. Of course, keeping it within the same rule set, like you don't change up how they move, but like, let's say they're on a moving platform now, or, you know, whatever. So it's like first introduce the mechanic, build off that mechanic. In fact, the way how I was doing the levels, I made the levels into thirds. So I think I had like 3 levels, or maybe I got to the 4th level, but I had 3 levels done, at least 3 levels. And basically, the first third of the level was focusing on one mechanic, like one certain enemy. And then the second third, like after you hit the checkpoint, the second third of the level is a different enemy gets introduced, or whatever, something gets introduced. And then you kind of have to like play around with that mechanic. And then the last third of the level, once you hit that last checkpoint, that second checkpoint, that last third of the level was both those two things together. So that was the main theme I was using as far as game mechanics and pacing. But I didn't come up with that. That wasn't something that I just came up with. It was that's how Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is set up. Like if you play through that game, like the first third of the level is you have like one specific thing, and then second third is a different thing, and then the last third of the level is like both those two things together. Hey, Name Gnome, how's it going? Glad you're able to join. Probably gonna be in the. Let's see, I got like maybe 20 more minutes, but appreciate you joining up. We're reacting to this video where Joe Baxter Webb is talking about game design on platformers.
In how to do this type of level design. It's quite different from the previous game because the previous game was doing that thing of going for a naturalistic world. This is a lot more abstract, which means it can just be much more video gamey and go, okay, here is challenge A involving drills. Here is challenge AB involving drills and sparks. Here is challenge AABB involving more drills and more sparks. It can
Yeah, that's basically how it, like what I explained. Like I had challenge A, then challenge B, and then challenge AB. That's basically how I was setting up the levels.
Be much more video gamey in how it's laid out, but it does have this overarching theme that makes it really, really work, which is basically the plants and the biological stuff are the good guys, and you're in this kind of nasty dystopian looking world. As cute as everything is, that kind of blue and grey and everything looking a little bit grubby, it's the same thing that Sonic did. Sonic had a binary opposition between robots bad, technology bad, futuristic stuff bad, animals and nature good.
Just some thoughts on this game. It looks like how much a person will enjoy this game depends on how much the person enjoys this underground like drilling portion, because it looks like this is like a majority of this game, and if a person doesn't like this portion, then they're not gonna like the game. Like, so it's like this drilling part. Like I've seen some other drilling game recently, like another indie game. I think it's like a penguin sliding on its belly. But that one looks pretty fun. But this looks a little bit different. It has a similar theme where you dig in the ground. But it's like this will make or break the game as far as like if the person will enjoy it.
It's the same thing that Sonic did. Sonic had a binary opposition between robots bad, technology bad, futuristic stuff bad, animals and nature good, and it just makes a really nice, clear kind of world building thing that also maps onto the visual design of these things, where like the plants are all kind of biological and move around and are animated in a specific way, and the rest of the game is kind of sharp and industrial looking. This is some great ramping up of the challenge of how all of these parts fit together. Like, we're seeing parts that we've seen multiple times now. The drills, the lasers, the having to jump out of the soil at particular points. It's not introducing new things in the environment in a really rapid way. It's combining them over and over again in a way that kind of really tests the skills that we've previously developed. So when I look at what I've got to do for this section, I'm not having to do anything wildly different, but the way it all kind of ties together and just gradually gets more complex is really well designed. By the time you get to that bit, you've practiced that bit of the level less frequently, which means you don't have as strong a memory of it as this part, which is an interesting thing about kind of challenge design. You will notice this if you've ever learned to play music. If you mess up when you're performing a song or something and you restart every time, you know the beginning of the song really well and you don't know the middle or the end very well. And there's something about level design with that as well, which I think is why sometimes it's okay to go easy on people towards the end of a very challenging level, because by that time they're tired, they haven't played and practiced that bit as much, and it can feel really trollish to give people a really difficult level.
I think that's a good point they brought up with having the end be like a little bit easier, just so that they can like actually finish it, because they're gonna be playing at least the beginning and the middle like so many times, especially if it's a harder like a position style game.
That requires a lot of concentration, and then right at the end throw them a curveball that they then need.
This enemy looks pretty good. Like, I mean, like the way how the presentation looks really cool. It kind of looks out of place for the game though, but I think it looks pretty cool
To remember is there for the next time they play the level, and that can be a good or bad thing to do depending on the tone of the game that you're making, I think. So good luck to the developers of Valerie and Spring Escape. I hope your games do well. I hope you get some wish lists off the back of this coverage. I think what you're doing is really, really good. It shows a lot of kind of care and love for the type of game you're making. And that's the type of thing that I want to encourage in this community. More of that, please. Just keep putting that level of care and attention to detail in what you're doing. And I hope it pays off, because you deserve it. So thanks for sending those in. And I hope you get some wish lists off the back of this video.
All right. I did like the game design feedback that he was giving, though I feel like the thumbnail is bamboozled me a little bit. Our platformer's dead, and he only talked about that for like 30 seconds in the middle of the video, so I feel like that was a bit of a bamboozle, but I do think that was some good information that he gave in the video. But anyways, let's get that off the screen. Anyways, that was Indie Game Clinic. Like I mentioned already, I think he has some good information when it comes to game design. He's definitely a smart guy when it comes to understanding mechanics. But let's get this off screen. Transition. Anyways, we're gonna start wrapping things up. I got maybe about 10 more minutes on the stream. Let's see. I will talk about an update real quick. If you guys have any questions, if you want to do a super chat, feel free to do a super chat. What else? Like the video if you got this far. I really appreciate it. But I guess update. So last week I was talking about how I had an interview after the live stream, and it went well. So basically, I got to talk to the chairman, the department chair of like the satellite campus that I went to. So I'm just gonna call. I'm not gonna say which school I go to. I'm just gonna call it community college. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm just gonna call it community college. So this community college has a section of campuses that are up in the north side of the city. I'm gonna call that community college north. And then this one that's closer to me, it's called Community College Tech West. Maybe I'm giving too much information. Anyways, so this one, Community College West, it's closer to me. It's about like during bad traffic, it's about 30 minutes. Good traffic, around 22 minutes away. So that's pretty good. The other one is like 50 minutes away during bad traffic, 45 minutes if I'm speeding the whole way. So it's nice that this one's closer. And the other big perk is that she told me they don't believe in half semesters, because the one that I've been teaching at, and I'm still teaching a class, I'm still teaching a graphic design class in the second half of next semester. So the chairman, she told me, yeah, we don't believe in half semesters. Students need the full 16 weeks to learn these technology classes. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Having a full semester gives me more time to teach the same material and make sure that they understand it. Plus, I want to get paid for a whole semester. I don't want to get paid for half a semester. I want a job for 4 months, not a job for 2 months. So she was going to offer me 2 classes, but because I'm already like dedicated to teaching the other class, I'm a part-time instructor, so that means they can't give me full-time hours. So that means I can't teach 3 classes. I can only teach a maximum of 2. I already am dedicated to 1, so she gave me 1, so now I have 2 classes. Well, 1 during the whole semester and then 2 at the second half. So, this is a 3D Studio Max class. I haven't used 3D Studio Max in forever, but I did mention like I've done 3D with like Blender and Unity. I've used those at a professional capacity, and that was enough for her to say, "All right," but I have to like at this point, I have to like go full gear on relearning 3D Studio Max. Like I got a Udemy course that the school has. Well, I have access to the school's Udemy account, so I have like all these Udemy classes I can have access to. So there's a 3D Studio Max. It's like 12 hours long. Gonna try to blast through it. And then I have to come up with the class curriculum, the syllabus, what projects I want them to work on. Um, so I mainly need to get that done by I think the class starts like August 24th. I don't need to have like all the lecture material done by then, but at least like the first few weeks need to be done. And so yeah, I'm pretty happy that I have work. So I'm gonna have basically in October I'm gonna have like 3 jobs. Um, so I have this 3D Studio Max class, and then I have the graphic design class, and then I also have the warehouse job. So I mean that's good to have like three jobs. Um, at least from October till December. Um, but I mean starting at the end of this month I'll have 2 jobs. Still have the majority of this month with only 1 job, but I like I said, I still need to focus on relearning 3D Studio Max and coming up with the material. Yeah, so that's the update on that. Looks like there looks like Beware Tomorrow will still be on pause for a while. Maybe like spring semester, it will look a lot better. Because if she offers me 2 classes again in spring semester and they're the same class, then I don't have to relearn the material. I don't need to come up with new teaching material, and I could just go right in and use some free time towards developing a game. And uh finally get back on game development. That would be nice to finally get back on that because right now I've been focusing a lot of time on like job applications, job hunting, finding gigs, etc. Because paying bills is the most important thing at the moment. Um, so now that I'm switching gears, I have to switch gears from job hunt to like getting ready for this course. I'm still very busy, but it's looking better. Um, let's see what we got going on in the chat. Don't let them know too much. Well, I didn't. So as far as the talking to the chair, the department chair, I didn't say, "Yeah, I don't know anything about 3D Studio Max." Like, I wanted to be transparent and say, "Yeah, I haven't used this in a while," but I was like, "Hey, I've used 3D." And she wanted to mainly know what my professional background is and like if I'm capable of teaching. And yeah, I convinced her. Let's see. The problem with gaming is now we have too many games, so it's pretty competitive. Market, job is more important. Make a game that targets the Sonic fan base. It'll skyrocket. So I do want to finish. Um, I do want to finish Beware Tomorrow first, but I do have a plan for another game. Let's see, docs. The next game I would like to make is something a little bit more maybe like I guess a little bit more meme-ish. It's not a meme game, but something that's gonna draw in more attention. Where is it? Let me find it real quick. Okay, that's not it. One second. I did talk about this on stream before. Okay, here we go. All right. So this would be, let me make sure. Okay, yeah. This would be a pretty simple game that I can make. It would be an endless runner game. Monster truck crashers. This is a uh an AI generated image. So this is not like an actual. This is concept. This is concept. So basically, endless runner. You're a monster truck. I mean, first of all, it's facing the wrong way. The monster truck's supposed to face the other way. But you're running over cars. You're avoiding stuff like spikes and stuff like that. Yeah, like you'd have like spikes, maybe you have to like jump over. Keeping the controls simple, run over cars. It thematically it would tie in with Nexus Defenders. Because I kind of want to just build off the IP. I want to build off that universe and do more stuff with that universe. So thematically, it'll be, yeah, I'll have some colorful levels, but also I want to kind of keep it like within that same tone of Nexus Defenders. And have it within the same world. But this is the next thing after Beware Tomorrow. Beware Tomorrow is a horror, first person escape room type game. But this is what I would like to do. Something that's kind of like broad appeal, something that's like simple for people to pick up and play, and um, also thematically that allows me to put in some goofy things in there so that like goofy things allow you to go more viral. But that's that. Anyways, um, do I got anything else before I wrap up? I think that's it. We've hit we're hitting the 90 minutes, so I'm gonna wrap things up. Just wanna, oh yeah, I gotta give a shout out. Shout out to um all the members. If you want to become a member and support the channel, I appreciate everybody who supports the channel. It's $5 to be a member. You get access to all the emojis. So let me just spam all these emojis real quick. I think no, there we go. One more. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's all the emojis. Yeah, so there's the emojis in the chat, and let me get the members on screen so I can give the members a shout out before I wrap things up. Again, please leave a like. If you can't become a member, you don't have the money to spend. I totally understand. I'm in the same situation, so I totally understand. But oh snap! Name gnome, you just joined. How come I don't have a indication? It says 0 days ago, so that means that was today. I don't see. All right. Yeah. For some reason, I don't. Let me. Can I refresh this? Refresh. No. I don't know why. I don't know how to refresh. I don't know. Anyways. Oh, first time is free. Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, let's get this on screen then. Transition. Transition. All right. Let's start from the oldest. So we got Zedzag, 16 Helder, Gizmobo, Bobo, Scott, Mohid, Crash and Burn, Asgerjon, Fire Alone, Mr. 10 Years, James, Marbury, St. Hugo, Format, Nexbeard, um, Katana, John Doe, Josh, Spartan, Peaceful Dance, Bite Me Games, High Tech Bull, Kyle, Southern, and Name Gnome. Thank you, all the supporters. I appreciate all the people who are supporting the channel. And I'll see you guys next week. Next week, I should be able to do it on Tuesday again. Just tomorrow, I'm busy. Let me check real quick. Also, I might be on Digny's thing next week. Do I have? Yeah, I'm free next Wednesday, so I could probably be on Digny's live stream on Rumble next week on Wednesday. I'll reach out to him because Wednesday I'm free. Actually, yes, yes. So next Tuesday I can still do the live stream, but I have work at 1 p.m. So I need a bounce. I need to make sure I get done on time. So thanks again, everyone who joined. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next week. And if you guys want to, if you want me to talk about any specific topics, you can leave a comment on YouTube. You can ping me on X, or you can also leave send me an email if you ever want me to talk about any specific topics. So, just reach out. Anyways, take care, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate